Hey YouTube, Jeremy right here. This is my little gallon shrimp nano tank, and let's get an idea about the shrimpies. So there's a neo, orange neo that we would normally just call an orange shrimp. The color of the lighting honestly makes it a little bit challenging to determine that is an orange shrimp. However, they are in fact orange shrimp. This tank has been running for a little over a month, and this actually, you know what? I am going to start talking about something totally different than I intended to when I began making this video. So let's describe what this is. I'm going to zoom out. I mentioned this is my newest tank. It's been here. Boom. It's a little, like, it's a gallon, okay? So, boom. Not very big, right? It has soil under, this is marine sand, but basically it's the size of a granule for pool filter sand, same thing. This just happens to be marine sand. Effectively, it's the same. And then it's got a bunch of plants in it. The plants are growing so fast that I literally several times now have had to pull out plant matter. And so let's talk about this stuff. There's some parrot's feather, there's some Proserpinaca, there is guppy grass, there's hornwort, there's riccia, little anubias, little java ferns, but it's all growing in a tiny little space, plus some mosses. And so literally like every week or so, I have to come in here, pull out a lot of the plant matter. Oh, sorry about that. Come in here every week or so, pull out plant matter and ditch it. And then, you know, and given this aquarium's like a month old, right? I mentioned that. So I'm still playing with like the lighting and consistently dropping the lighting intensity and time. But that's not really what I'm trying to discuss with you. The thing that I wanted to bring up is that this tank has had 0 fertilizers. It has soil under sand. It does not get fed. I have fed this aquarium 3 times since I put shrimp in here. Each of those times I just crumbled up a little bit of fish flake, and there are, I don't know, probably 6 or 8 of these little orange shrimp in here. I always have a difficult time finding them, but if I stick around long enough, you know, we find them. They're in here. But they're going to be growing slowly because there's no reason to start infusing this little tank with a bunch of nutrients. Obviously, the shrimp are staying alive. The plants are growing, I would argue, too prolifically for this little thing, like it's a problem. But in all of my tanks, and I've done this for years now, plural years, and you can go back and check how many, I mean, this is probably like my 600th YouTube video. Not a big channel. I've just been steady at it, sharing what I enjoy for many years. And, you know, we've got a little bit of a following here and across, what I'll just say, media, across different media channels from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. People know how to find me, right? So for years now, I've been telling people, hey, this fertilizer stuff that the aquatics hobby pushes, not needed. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna go to another side of the room. So I just walked across the same room. This aquarium has been going, this is a 55. This is maybe my longest run now. It's my 2nd or 3rd longest running tank that's here. This one was started, I think, in 2020. And no fertilizers. It has so much plant growth that I have to I literally pull out guppy grass, anacharis, mosses and things, and I just throw it in the backyard in the compost pile. Similarly, it's time for this one. I need to pull out guppy grass and just throw it out. Why am I showing you these tanks? Because similarly, they don't get fertilized. I don't know where the concept came that people have to use fertilizers or CO2 injection in their tanks. That is just like utterly false. I have to throw away plant matter. It grows so prolifically, it will darken out the light. The plants at the bottom of my tanks will be blotted out from receiving their artificial sunlight, right? If I don't just pull plants out and throw it away. And that's just how it's basically been since I started doing what I'm going to call the father fish method, the Wallstead 2.0. Now I started doing Wallstead type tanks 2010, maybe something like that. 2010 is a good guess. 2011. Actually, the reason I built this piece of my house over here was because I wanted to put a 55-gallon tank in my living room, and I just I'm kind of a snob about stands. So, you know, this is my aquarium stand that's been modified many times over the years. We've had all this stuff removed. Recently, yeah, I ripped this stuff out and just never put it back. It became, I started hating opening and closing the door. I was like, I just want to see in there. Just take it off the hinges. So the last time I painted these, I just left it like that. But going back well over a decade, there's been an aquarium here in Wallstead method. When I upped it to the father fish method, diseases went away. I almost don't have to feed my fish anymore. And I don't feed the plants. So we're gonna go back over to the little tank now. So, back at the little tank, right? People tell you all the time when you get into the planted aquarium hobby, oh, you'll need these liquid fertilizers, you'll need these root tabs, you'll need this stuff, you'll want to inject carbon dioxide, and you'll want this stuff and this stuff. Basically, what I have to say is that is hogwash. You do not need that stuff. That is someone or groups of someones who are very willing to take your money. And that's the only reason they're talking about that. That's the only reason they're selling that. It's not for your plants. Because look what plants do when they're not given any fertilizer at all. You know what? And just so I can show you a little more, I'm going to take this. Actually, that's more proof that I don't feed or fertilize this tank. Like, I can't even get to it, right? I've got to take it apart to even get down in here. But yeah, check it out. There is actually some duckweed in there I'll get out. But yeah, that's like such a huge mat of plant matter growing in this volume of water. You know, it actually reminds me of my shrimp jars. Those of you who might have seen my other nano systems. I wasn't big into nano systems until a couple of years ago. And then I started keeping shrimp jars. And I was like, wow, you know what? These little bitty systems are really fun. Because you get to charge your phone on top of them, right? That's what they're really for. It's a very elaborate phone charging system. This is my new school Japanese phone charger. But if you look in here very closely, and focus might be a problem. Focus will be a problem, in fact. So I'm going to zoom and try to focus better. What I'm trying to get here is there are little seed shrimp, other little crustaceans that have been in here. They're just a part of, and you know, we're just not going to see that stuff now. Fine. As soon as I start talking about it, like I literally saw them right before I tried to focus on one. Whatever. So take it from me. There are these little bitty things in there called seed shrimp. And the way you know what a seed shrimp is they swim in a certain way. They're different than Daphnia or other little stuff. But they're in here hanging out with the Neocaridina shrimp. And yeah, they're just doing their thing. So I wouldn't call this a robust ecosystem in a sense that there's a ton of biodiversity. I will probably add some. Oh, there we go. Now I see the little seedy shrimp right there. This sort of center screen. So going back to what I wanted to talk about, people get us so off track trying to sell us stuff. You know, money makes the world go round, sort of, but really, isn't it biology that makes the world go round, and just science and knowledge and care and love? I'm pretty sure nobody's out in the forest dumping packets of fertilizer on the trees. No one is wandering through the lakes and streams and rivers. Now, every time I see one of these little orange shrimp, I'm trying to actually catch it on camera, but they pop in and pop out, and then you don't see them again, and I'm missing them. So the fertilizer stuff, like, what I have to say is run some soil under some sand, and you will basically have a nice, healthy supply of nutrients, minerals. If you need a little bit more, you can sprinkle tiny amounts of marine salts into your tanks, like tiny amounts, and that's basically going to give you the elements in the periodic table in the same ratio that they occur in Earth's crust. Now, what's special about that? That is the ratio at which life in general tends to use those elements. And it doesn't matter if it's